everyone raise their right hand high in the sky, really high. Leave your hand up if you in the past have ever had a situation where you have, shrunk yourself in order to not make someone else feel uncomfortable. Right, everyone. Okay, cool. Leave your hand up if you have taken the safe route in the past, when even though you really wanted to take this route over here, but you took that route instead. Okay, right, everyone, leave your hand up if you would like to learn how to play bigger and think bigger in all areas of your life. Awesome, the hands just went up further. Awesome, well, you're in the right place, because tonight we're talking about how to think and play bigger in all areas of your life. It's about upgrading, taking everything to the next level. And you all are here for a reason. Everyone sitting here is a light worker, is a trailblazer. You wouldn't be at a goddess group or, in a room with these sorts of women if you didn't want to really take everything to the next level and play bigger. So I honor you for that, because some people don't. Some people are just totally cool, happy in their comfort zone, and that's cool. That's their journey. But I know that all of you want to play bigger. You just told me you did. So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. And I wanted to share a little story with you first about a time where I was really challenged to play a bit bigger. And it was about 5 years ago, and it was when I was bringing on my first staff member. I remember thinking, oh my God, I had so much fear. How am I going to be able to afford this person? What if I don't have any work for her all the time? So much fear. My mean girl was going crazy. But I knew that in order to take my business to the next level, I needed to bring someone on board to help me. I knew that. I logically knew that. But there was so much fear and resistance. So much. I was sweating profusely. Oh my God, am I making the right decision? I'm so fearful. And it all boiled down to worthiness. My mean girl was telling me that I wasn't worthy of having this person in my business, or I wasn't worthy of the type of abundance that I would attract, that I needed to pay for that person, to support that person. And so what I did in that moment was I sat there, I stared my mean girl in the face, and I said, I see you, I hear you, but I'm not willing to let you win. And in that moment, I mastered my mean girl, and I chose to think bigger than to stay in my comfort zone. Now, I haven't always thought like this. Many years ago, I was very, very calculated. Everything I did was in my tight little neat comfort zone box, because it challenged me so much, to the point where I rarely left the house. I didn't like eating out because I couldn't control what was being put in my food. I didn't like being put in any situations that I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Hello, control freak. So I wanted to always know, and I remember always saying to my mom, and then what? And then what are we doing? And then what are we doing? And wanting to know all the steps. And that was because I was so fearful of ever stepping out of my comfort zone, because I had been taught that, you kind of got to be boxed in and play it safe. And in that situation, I thought, okay, I can play it safe here and not be risky and not bring this person in and have someone to pay a salary. I could play it safe and stay in that little comfort zone, or I can face my mean girl in front of me and say, I see you, I'm willing, I see you, I can hear you, but I'm not willing to let you win. And in that moment, I mastered my mean girl. And in order to think and play bigger, this is what we've got to do. And I remember there was another situation when I bought my first brand new car, because my dad had always taught me to never buy brand new cars. you always buy second-hand cars because as soon as you drive them out of the thing, they depreciate. So he'd always taught me to buy second-hand cars, and I had. And a few years ago, I was like, I would really like to experience a brand new car. And it challenged me so much. So much fear came up, and like I was like, oh my God, like what if I can't afford it? My dad's right. And essentially it boiled down to worthiness. Again, you're not worthy. My mean girl was telling me, you're not worthy of this type of car. And I faced my fear right in front of me, and I said, mean girl, I see you, I hear you, but I'm not willing to let you win. And in that moment, I mastered her and I bought a brand new car. And can I tell you that every single time I sit in that car, I feel so much love and joy. And it's not about the car. Like, these are just silly examples, but it's not about the car. It's about me facing a fear. And every time I sit in that car, I feel so proud of myself because I know how much mean girl resistance I had to master in order to purchase that car. Does that make sense? Same with hiring my first full-time staff member. There was so much resistance, but now I have a beautiful team and I'm so grateful, and I cherish them so much because I know how much resistance I had to hire them. And another example I just thought of was, I remember, spending a lot of money on myself on personal development. I went to a one-day workshop that cost like $3,000. And again, I was like, no, my mean girl was like, no, you won't get anything out of it. You won't get anything out of it. It's just gonna be another workshop. Don't worry about it. All of this stuff, which buried down to worthiness again. And in that moment, I faced my mean girl in the face and I said, I hear you, I see you, but I'm not willing to let you win. And I mastered her in that moment. And I moved through anyway. And that was one of the most radical personal development things I have ever been to that shifted so much for me. And I'm so grateful for that experience. So there's one of my favorite quotes by Marianne Williamson, and I may butcher it, so please bear with me. But it goes something along the lines of this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is not our light that scares us the most, it is our darkness. And essentially for me, this quote, when I first heard it, it's my favorite quote of all time. When I first heard this, I was like, oh my Lord, I have been shrinking myself for like 24 years of my life. I had been shrinking and staying in this little comfort zone and staying in this box because I was so scared to think bigger and play bigger because it was out of my comfort zone. But we didn't come here to play it safe and small. We really didn't. We came here to live like a big, colorful, beautiful life, whatever that looks like for you. And when you really remember that, and you remember that this is a blank canvas, life is a blank canvas, and we can paint whatever we want on it, and we can think as big or as little as we want. Life becomes so much more exciting. So much more exciting. And when I was pondering on this topic tonight, I was trying to remember all of these times where I had to face my mean girl and think bigger. And I think it's really important that we bring awareness to these times. So before we go any further, I want you guys to think about, when was a time in your life, maybe it was recently, maybe it was when you were 6, where you played really small. I want you to write that down, and maybe you've got 1 or 2. But write them down now, because awareness is key and nothing changes if nothing changes. So we're going to really be super mindful of all of the times that you have played small. Maybe it's in a relationship or with a job. Like maybe you applied for the safer job when you really, really wanted to apply for the other one. Maybe it's not texting a guy when you really wanted to, but you were like, nah. Your mean girl convinced you that, nah, he's not interested. Try and write down as many as you can. If you don't have any, just let me know. I can give you some of mine. Maybe there's somewhere in your life right now where you know you're playing small. And then just look up when you're done so that I know who's finished and who's not finished. Let's hear one, gorgeous. Yeah. Nice, big, loud voice.
Oh my God, so many. I kind of just like definitely roles or programs that I didn't go to or apply for, just like generally not reaching out or asking people or presenting myself or speaking up in groups like this. Like now I talk all the time, but I used to like never. Even when I was really, really young in school, like the first time I can really remember, I was put into this challenge group for, I don't know, gifted / loudmouth kids. And none of my friends were in it. And so from that, like that was the first time that I actually really remember dumbing it down. Like, and I don't mean dumbing it down, but like in every way, because I was so afraid of the pressure of it. Like, what if I don't, like, what do I have to prove? Like up until then, everything was fun. And so kind of in just every day, I'd say there's probably a time or something I don't say or something I don't ask for, or even just something I don't believe for myself.
Yeah. What about you? Let's hear one of yours.
So not applying for roles which I felt were out of my league, or not asking for pay rises, just settling for what's given or given at all.
Yes, yeah. Who else has not asked for a pay rise or, oh wow, lots. Yeah, awesome. Okay, what about you right up here?
Not trying hard enough to publish my book that I've written.
Yes, not publishing your book. Yes, okay. What about you?
Staying in my last job for too long.
Staying in your last job for too long. Who else has done that one? Lots of people. What about you, Laura?
I didn't say yes to a job offer when I was younger. It was with horses, and I regret you still.
Yeah, wow. What about you?
Not going to things that I'm afraid I'll look foolish at, like a yoga workshop or things where people invite me to and I think like, oh, I don't want to go, I want to make a fool of myself.
Who else has felt like that? Yeah, lots of people. What about you, gorgeous?
Staying in a relationship, a toxic relationship for 7 years.
7 years. Who's done that? Maybe a few times. What about you, Ange?
Mine was a relationship as well. I went out with a guy who was super crazy, but I thought he was really good looking, and so I just went out with him anyway. But I just tolerated all the craziness because...
He was cute.
Yeah.
Toads.
But yeah.
Yes, yeah. What about you, gorgeous? Next to Ange. Yes.
One, I guess, also
so just in terms of jobs, but going for something that is safe or like maintaining an income and things like that, rather than going for something that you really want.
Yes. What about you?
At high school, having a crush on a guy, and then finding out that he had a crush on me through his friends, but being too shy to admit that I liked him too.
Yeah.
It
Nice.
would be there.
Nice. Does anyone else have any different ones? Yes.
Choosing to not extend friendship to people that I really, really admire, but it's very intimidated by. So that's a big one.
Who can relate to that? Lots of people. Wow. Anyone else got any other different ones that we haven't kind of said or explored?
Mine would be like say if friends like, oh, how are you, or they give you a compliment, like I'm really happy at the moment, and people have been saying, oh, you're doing amazing, you're really happy. I'll be like, oh yeah, like yeah, because I don't want to say, oh my god, yes, I am so happy. You know, I don't want to like brag or whatever. So I guess sometimes in my ability, I kind of dumb it down in order to not be awkward in front of other people.
Yeah, and that's a classic example of that quote, you know, making ourselves shrink so we don't make other people feel uncomfortable. It's retarded that we do that. Like, it's so crazy. Do you know what I mean? That we do that, we shrink in order to not make others feel awkward. You know, it's just ludicrous when we think about it. Does anyone else have any others? Yes.
Wanting to change career, but worrying that if you go into this other thing, you're going to be nowhere as good as everyone else in that area.
Yeah.
Where you want to change.
Yes. Yeah. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah, lots of people. Any others that we haven't said? Yes.
I find myself shrinking when I have to explain like why I'm doing a certain health, something in regards to my health, or like why I'm choosing not to eat gluten or something like that. I find myself shrinking in those kind of situations. Or if I'm like attending events like tonight, I'm like explaining it to people at work, like I just kind of shrink it down. Like, oh, it's just a girl's group.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone else have had situations like that? Yeah. Yep. Has anyone got any others that we haven't really mentioned? Yeah.
My biggest thing is never choosing even like a goal, like a life goal, or even a career goal, because we're too afraid that we'll never achieve it. So like the last few years have never just, I don't know, just going through uni, I'm just seeing where it will take me. Like, yeah.
Wow. Yep. Who else can relate to that? Yeah. Beautiful. So many. Any others that we haven't said? Yes.
But choosing to remain quiet, I know that I have something of value to share, for fear of not that it's not worthy what I'm saying, but that someone's going to try and dump me down with a message.
I'm sure lots of people can relate to that. Everyone's like, yes. Yeah. Yes, Pip.
this is the part I struggle with. All of these things that I'm learning more to my business at the minute is believing that I'm worthy of what's coming into my life and the people that are in my life. So
I talk to her about this all the time.
those situations and things, and then believing that, yeah, I'm able to stand up and I'm able to do these things. By people saying really lovely things to me, I sort of like, these that hide away. Yeah, there's so many things.
Yes. Yeah. Who's felt like that too? Yeah, absolutely. You know, everything that everyone said we can all relate to on some point. And when you kind of boil it down and you dig and you pull all these layers and you dig, the underlying belief is I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of the guy, of the job, of the friends, of, you know, being acknowledged for X. So we really need, the first thing I want to talk to you about tonight is about shifting our mindset. If you want to play big and think bigger, we have got to shift this mindset around. We have got to change it, because otherwise nothing changes if nothing changes. And in those moments of total discomfort, where your mean girl is right there and you feel so fearful, and maybe your body starts to sweat and you're hot, and maybe it's over a job or asking for a pay rise. It's not about getting rid of those times in your life, because they will happen for the rest of your life. They still happen to me many times. But in those moments, you have one or two choices. You can say, okay, mean girl, you're right, and then just stay in your comfort zone. Or you can say, I see you, I hear you, but I'm not willing to let you win. It's very, very simple. And in that moment, you just mastered your mean girl.